Hey, Shalom, Markins, Rakam Akapash from GMS London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. When I give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in all sincerity. All right, back again with another video. And, again, we're going to get on Esau, man. Because, Esau for white people, you are the Edomites, the Bible speaks of that. And everything that you do proves that, right? We just see what, Trump was done with Venezuela, and he's talking about Greenland. He's talking about all these different things, right? And the history of these so-called white people is just conquest, man, and theft, right? Murder, right? Not for the first time, right? You did it as Rome, you did it as Greece, right? It's just something that, you run it on, right? So this is what you guys do, right? And then you try and justify the reasons for what you're doing, and at the same time acting like you're the righteous people on the earth. You're doing it all for a good reason, to benefit everybody else. Whatever, man. Okay, these lies ain't gonna run, with the elect and others on the earth that see through your bullshit. All right, you are nothing but thieves on the earth, right? You're nothing but violent people on the planet, right? And the only reason you're able to do is because you've been blessed with the sword, right? And so you Edomites, you live by the sword, and that is, you know, evident in you so-called white people. You live by the sword. All right, that's how you get what you really want, by the sword, by being violent, okay, by being aggressive, right, by being thieves, right? Blood, these things you don't care about. What blood you have to shed to get what you want, you don't care about, right? No, but you acting like you care about people and the world and all this kind of business. You don't care, right? These are just excuses. All right. So I'm gonna get into this, man. Right, and I'll start here in Genesis 27 with your blessing. Right, with your blessing. Right. I'm gonna start from verse 38 here. Right, and Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Right? You're going to live by shedding blood. Right? Bringing violence to people. Taking things that don't belong to you. Right? That is how you was going to live. Right? This is how you was going to gain, the whole world, so to speak. Right? This is how you, have your dominion. Right? The fatness of the whole earth, which is what you currently enjoy over all the other nations. Right? And this is how you're going to do it. This is how you've lived. Right? This is why you're so obsessed with, weaponry and military power. That's why you spend so much on it. Right? Because it's your thing is that you have to be and have to have the most powerful military on ever, greater than all the other nations, right? So you can use it against them to bully them, and like, because we're meant to be in an age of cooperation, right? We got the UN and all these different things that you supposedly set up and all that kind of stuff, right? We're meant to be able to talk things out, right? Now, because we're civilized people now, right? But you're the most barbaric of them all. you know, you're the most barbaric of all the nations, right? You're dropping nuclear bombs in nations that don't need to be, don't need bombs dropping them like that, you know. You got the whole world scared because of your power, right? And you go around, abusing that power, right? So yeah, it's easy to talk. It's easy to talk when you got guns pointing at everybody, right? People have to cave into your demands, so you get to take things from them, right? And those that you can't just, bully, you go in there and you take by force. Okay, as just happened with Venezuela. You went in there and you took man out, took in captives, and now like, oh yeah, Venezuela is now under our control. And you're gonna take the oil, and you're gonna take this, and you're gonna take that. That's how you lived, right? That is what you fall back on when things ain't getting done. The sword, right? So again, and by the sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, right? And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, right? Which you currently do, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, right? So you're free to pursue all this wickedness that you're doing right now, right? But that's all going to come to an end real soon, right? But you was blessed to live by the sword, right? For, a duration of time before your end came. All right. And that's what you're doing, right? And that's why biblically, prophetically, you so-called white people are the Edomites, right? And there's no other front runner for who the Edomites are. I know you always want to try to what's that game? Pass the hot potato or whatever the hell it is. You're trying to fling onto somebody else. Oh no, we're not the Edomites. Oh, they're the Edomites, and well, it's not us. It's you try and do all that stuff, but no one fits these prophecies better than you do, right? You are the prime candidate, right, of who the Edomites are, right? And it's evident, right? It's evident, right? It's Psalms 11 verse 5, right? Let's see quick. Let me read from verse 2, right? It says, "For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple, and the Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth." Right? You man love violence. Right? You man love violence, man. You love crushing other nations. You like wielding that power. You like going to war and blowing people up. You love it. Yeah, you're now the Department of War, right? Not the Department of Defense no more. You're the Department of War. So you're projecting power and strength and all that stuff at over the world, right? Because a military is really meant to be protecting your nation, but these men are everywhere but their nation. Men, they've got garrisons all over the earth. And America's got the most amount of garrisons all over the planet. Oppressing other nations, right? That's what that does, right? It's not a military to defend the homeland. It's to project power against other nations in different regions, just like Rome, right? They love the good scuffle, right? Because they were superior. Everyone likes doing things when they're superior and it's easy, isn't it? You can go to the Middle East and just blow a bunch of Arabs up because what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, you got your Air Force over there. What they're gonna do? They're just gonna get blown up, man. We saw from all the footage that came out of that, man. Just striking people, heavy guns, drones, and all kinds of stuff, man. Just from the air, just destroying people at weddings and stuff. So yeah, it's fun and it's easy. It's fun when it's easy, kind of thing. Like, you can just do it, and you're gonna win. You're gonna win. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool then, isn't it? But what happens when you fight against somebody that's stronger than you? Oh, you ain't been in that position before. Yeah, but you're gonna meet it. Okay, when your Hawashai returns with the angels, and you ain't gonna like it. Okay, you ain't gonna like getting your ass handed to you, right? In a way that's never been seen before. You ain't gonna enjoy that. So yeah, the Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hate. For the Most High hates these devils, man, and their mentality, their spirit. Right, so upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and that's why America is going to be destroyed. Okay, with fire, okay, with nuclear fire from missiles, right? And in a horrible tempest, this shall be the portion of their cup. Right, that's the portion allotted to them. The righteous Lord Yahweh loveth righteousness; his countenance doth behold the upright. Right, and America's not upright. Trump's not upright. The military's not upright. The people are not upright. There's nothing upright about America. Right? All the elect that the Lord's going to save it, they are upright. It's Psalms 58 verse, stop on the top. To the chief musician, Altashif, Mitchim of David. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? The answer is no. No, they don't judge uprightly. Esau doesn't judge uprightly. He so-called white people, right? You don't judge uprightly, right? But you here acting like the bastion of light in the world, or of righteousness, right? And you feel like you got you can act without impunity, man. Especially America, and it's something that's starting to really grate on the rest of your allies, man. The rest of you Edomites out there in Europe, right? You just acting without impunity. You just doing what the hell you want to do. right? You can't be spoken to, right? There's another video I want to do, man. A letter that was written recently, brother post up in the chat, that these nations, these allied nations, NATO nations, right? Okay, they're not happy. They're worried about you. They're concerned about you, man. That you're just doing what the hell you want to do, right? Again, fulfilling more prophecy, but again, that being for another video, right? So, yea, in heart you work wickedness, you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. And like I said, you just pick a period, man. Esau's always been out there conquering other peoples, man, and destroying people's nations and dividing nations, and you know, like India, in China. They just go around everywhere destroying places. North America, the natives, the Gadites. You just go around everywhere just taking things and destroying people and making them weak, right? So you can benefit, right? You don't stop. You can't stop, right? Because you're just you're just too wicked, right? It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. They're poisoned like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, right? You can't tell Esau nothing, man. Because as far as Esau is concerned, if he's got the ability to do it, right, he don't care if it should be done, whether it's righteous or not. He'll do it because he wants to do it, right? And everything that he wants to do is wicked, right? So you can't tell him nothing, right? And he'll say and do whatever he needs to say and do to get what he wants. And that's why these men are just bold-faced liars, from birth, right? Verse 5 says, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Right? Don't listen to reason, right? Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. Break the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord, right? The Most High is going to break their power, okay? Their ability to wage war and to kill, right? The Lord's going to destroy all of that. That's why when Yahushua comes, man, the Most High is going to wipe out the world's armies, man. He's going to break all their teeth. So they ain't got nothing to fight back with. They're not dangerous anymore, So let them melt away as waters which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces. As a snail that melteth, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Right, so before your pots can fill the thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. Right, and say, we're waiting. We're not evil for wanting this. We're just waiting because this is what the Lord has promised us, man. The destruction of the wicked. Right? We're fed up. We're tired. Right? And the whole world's, becoming tired of it. Or the wicked, with the wicked rulership. Right? But no one wants it more than us, man. For the Lord to bring vengeance. Right? The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. So that a man shall say, verily there is a reward for the righteous. Right? This is our reward, to see our enemies fall, to see the wicked dethroned and put under our feet, put in subjection, put in slavery. Right? That is our reward. Okay, this is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right? Verily he is a God that judgeth in the earth. All right, we're gonna know. All right. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 2. That's off the top. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right? Esau holds all the power. And so he's always putting a scheme in on what he's going to do next. That's why he has a whole agenda. That's why he has a whole new world order agenda. Right? He's trying to shape, and put position in the world where it's only for him. That only he can enjoy it, right? And everybody else is oppressed on the next level. Right? He wants to become a god with all this AI, all this transhumanism stuff, all this technology. Right? He want to do all this, right? He want supreme control of all the resources. He want to digitize and tokenize everything, right? So it's all recorded and counted for, everything, right? You will own nothing and be happy, supposedly, right? Esau won't stop until he's achieved this, or, he ain't going to stop until he's achieved this, right? And this is why ultimately he can't, Most High is not going to allow him to finish. Most High is going to destroy him before he can, right? But this is what he's doing. He's always, like I said, always plotting and scheming, right? Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence. That's what they're always scheming on. Taking things by violence. And violence comes in many different forms. But, you know, like I said, the last resort is to go out there and kill you, man. That's what you devils do. Right? And like I said, you just rolled up in Venezuela just now, you know, murked off a few men and then and kidnapped the president. It's like, right, like, this couldn't happen. You know, this couldn't happen to America. America would not allow something like this to happen. It would never happen. It would be World War. But no, it's just Venezuela, isn't it? You know, and it's America. America's the one doing it. So who's going to judge them? Who's going to stand up and say, "Oh, I mean, they might say like maybe you shouldn't have done that." You know, maybe some of these nations will say that, but they're not going to do nothing about it. Now, if someone went into America and did the same thing, let's say, you know, someone rolled into the White House and kidnapped Trump, right? Somehow, fuck knows how, because America's, you know, got the defense in it. But let's say it happened, right? These men will declare war on whatever nation did that, and then it'll be world war. It'll be as simple as quick as that. Because it'll be the most heinous crime ever. You know, I mean, they had the audacity. Like they've had like assassinations in America and stuff like that, but no foreign entity has ever come into America and kidnapped the president. You know what I mean? It's never happened, right? And everybody would be scared to do that, right? They'd be scared to do that, man, because America would come down on like a ton of bricks. You know, they'd come out with all their nuclear armory and everything, but that nation would be finished. Right, but because no one else is on that sort of level, like, but this is kind of why, you know, Russia and America kind of respect each other on that sort of level. They wouldn't do something like that to one another because it'd be crazy, innit? But like, no one can really say nothing to America, and that's why America can get away with it. Trump can get away with it. No one's gonna say shit. No one's gonna do shit about it. You know, and that's why these other nations are on edge right now. Because if they can do that to Venezuela and they're just bold enough to do it, then what's stopping them, you know, doing it elsewhere? And like I said, this is just something that they've always done. They've always done this, man. They always make up an excuse to go and do something, and just do it because no one's gonna stop them, because they have this power that nobody else, you know, nobody else has. You know. So again, verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Right? They got the power to do that. Take your land, take your resources, take your leaders out. You know what I mean? Or the assassination, or they just kidnap them, whatever, man. They got the power to do that, and no one can resist them. You know? Except like, you know, certain man, maybe Russia could resist, China might be, you know, could resist, but these other smaller nations that they're fucking with, man, they can't do nothing. And their allies, you know, Esau's, you know, America's allies ain't going to say nothing, even if they don't agree with it. You know, which you could tell they don't agree with it. Right? It's a bit too far. Right? So they're starting to feel uncomfortable. As like Trump's talking about Greenland, but Greenland's the territory of an ally. You know, it's like, well, what does that mean? They're gonna find a reason why Denmark's not playing. You know, he's not a good ally. Oh yeah, they support the ISIS or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They could make any shit they want, really. That's what they do anyway. I was like, oh yeah, we found out there was elements, and you know, whatever, man. You know, but this is what they do. All right. So therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil. Right? These Edomites, you know, you got to go down, man. Right? For which you should not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. All right. So yeah, judgment's coming upon you soon, man. It's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. I'll read from 4 down, right? It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Why is his soul lifted up? Right? Because he has the dominion of the earth right now. He has the power. Right? So his soul is lifted up. Right? Because he can do what he wants to do. Right? But again, that's the fatness of the earth. He can do what he wants to do. Right? And like I say, he lives by that sword. Right? See, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, right? Neither keepeth at home. Like, what the hell is he doing in Venezuela? What you devils doing in Argentina? What are you doing in South Africa? What are you doing in Australia? Why are you everywhere? Right? Your home is Edom. That is where your allotted land of inheritance is. In the Middle East, in Edom. Mount Seir. Right? That is where you devils belong. And it's funny because you man are talking about all this immigration shit. Well, why don't you fuck off back to Edom, to Idumea? You know? No, you're everywhere else. You're in everybody else's house. Well, a house which you've now stolen and killed for. Right? These lands are not yours. They don't belong to you. They were not given to you by God. No, even though in the sense that Moses has prophesied that you would have them, in a sense, because you have them, right? So it's all part of the Lord's plan. You will have them, but they don't belong to you, right? And this is why you're going to be destroyed from out of the earth and out of all these different places. These things don't belong to you, right? You've not respected nobody on the earth, man. None of these nations have you respected. You know, respected their borders and nothing. You don't respect them, right? And this is why these nations are tired of you, right? Everyone knows you're a bad egg. Okay, but we've got to put up with you, man, because you hold all the power. You know? And so really ultimately when you go down, the world is gonna rejoice. Okay, only those that are in bed with you are gonna be upset. You know, those that are making money out of you. But everybody else, man, is gonna be like, yeah, this nation was wicked, man. You devils are wicked. You know? And they'll be finally be a bit of peace on the earth, man. You know? But yeah, it says yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death, and cannot be satisfied. Right? You always want more. Right? That's why you're in Venezuela, because you want more. You want what they got. You want to take their oil, right? You want to take whatever resources is out there. Yeah, you're not out here really trying to help nobody. Right? Like you're trying to portray. Okay, it's just your way of taking more. You know? So they cannot be satisfied, but gareth unto him all nations, and heateth unto him all people, right? And this is why you do this. This is why you have, you know, this whole world is opened up, right? Because you want to control all nations. You want to benefit from all nations. You want to take what they have. That's why you don't leave them alone. You can't help it. You won't leave nobody alone. When you bring in this NWO and the MOTB, you want the whole world. Because you're not satisfied with just, you know, your piece of land or whatever plot that you got. You ain't content with what you have even, you know, up until this point, which is a lot. You still want more. You man are already billionaires and trillionaires and all this type of shit, but you man still want more. Because it hurts you to know that other people have things, you know, because you're just that mad. You're just that mad, man. You're that angry, right? You can't stand to watch other people have anything, and so you want to take it all, right? And I say you do whatever it takes to take that, right? Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taught in proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Yeah, the shit that don't belong to you. Which is damn near everything that you got right now don't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else, or belongs to somebody else. Another tribe, another nation. You know? It says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that layeth himself in thick clay. Okay, the clay being debt, right? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? Thou shalt be for booties unto them, right? You're gonna, the Most High is gonna drag you out, or drag you down from your higher state, your heaven, right? These heathens are gonna rejoice in that. All right. It says because this is why, right? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, right? All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, because yeah, right, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all them that dwelled therein, right? Because of the sword, because of the violence, right? Because of the theft, right? Again, this is how Esau's been living. This is how you so-called white people live. Historically, this is how you gain the earth, right? It can't be denied. But you talk like, oh, we did the world a favor. We brought we advance the world and blah 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 blah. But the Lord is not giving you all these. Oh, but you did this though. The Lord's not doing all of that, right? Wickedness is wickedness. Whether you think it was beneficial overall or not, who cares what you think? The only thing that matters is what the Most High thinks, right? And what the Most High thinks is what we think. You know, that wickedness is going to be judged. Your wickedness is going to be judged, man. Whether you think you did good, you did good or whatever, that you want to be praised because you fucking, I don't know, because you were so great, your vengeance, or whatever, man. No one gives a fuck, right? The Most High sure doesn't, right? The Most High is going to judge you for your wickedness, right? Most High don't appreciate anything you've done on the earth, and so we ain't going to appreciate you, right? So woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. Because really it's about you and lording it over everybody else. Right? And that's why when you watch certain movies like Elysium and stuff like that, them man are just looking down. They enjoy being in that highest state, looking down on others. While you're suffering, the earth is wasted. The men are suffering on the earth, and these men are up in the space stations looking down and acting like nothing's going on, bro. Just, like they ain't just destroyed the earth. They're living in supreme luxury, and you're just there. The majority of people are just there struggling. That's not righteous, bro. That's not righteous at all. But that's the way. That's the way you would have it, because you don't care about the poor. You don't care about nobody else. So that the verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. And that's all your towns, it's all your cities around the world. It's all been built with blood. America's just that noble city, man. That noble place that you built up, that you slaughtered the Lord's people to obtain. Right? And that's why it's going to receive the greatest judgment and become an example onto the rest of the world, onto the rest of the nations. Right? So woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Right? That's why you're going to be destroyed. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. It said, and there went out another horse that was red. Okay, this red horse represents Edom. Edom means red. Horse represents power. So this red horse represents these Edomites that are in power. Right? That have this power. Okay, in these end times, right? And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace on the earth, right? A sword was given to him because he's fulfilling his blessing, right? Satan is actively working with these Edomites to rule the earth, right? And gave them, is enhancing their blessing. It's helping them with their blessing, man. The Most High have given Satan divine decree, right, to help these Edomites, right, to help them out, right, in conquering the earth and basically bringing about their own destruction ultimately. Right, Satan has been tasked to help them. Right, these are Satan's children on the earth that are in rulership right now. Right, he's number one peeps. Right, so yeah, they're beginning this power. Right, it says to take power was given to him that sat there on to take peace from the earth. Right, through the violence, for the bloodshed. That's what you do. Right, and that they should kill one another. Right, your opponent. What's that word, man? You're the reason, the cause of the world wars that we've had. Okay, you Edomites, right? War is what you know. Death is what you know. Right? And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword, right? So you have an ability to wage war and death greater than other people, right? You were given the nuclear weapons, which is like supposedly the greatest weapon in your armory, right? Everybody fears that. Everybody, right? And ironically, this is how you're going to be destroyed, by that great sword that you've been given, right? But you got all other kinds of technologies that you got, all different types of chemical, biological weapons, and all kinds of shit, right? That just as devastating. But that's the crown in your the jewel in your crown. Okay, that is that nuclear weapons, man. All right. And this is what is set the world on edge. From the time that you brought those things into the world, man, the world was changed. The world was changed, man. And you became a superpower and all kinds of things because it was just fucked up. The only people that was on that level or around about that level was Russia. And that kind of died, that Cold War happened or whatever, and it kind of died off because it was just too mad. Right? And Russia was recovering from the war that they played a significant part in winning. You man bombed Japan after Germany was already defeated, blood. So I don't know what you man were doing, right? But you didn't win us no war. You didn't win the war for people, for your peoples. All right? Russia did a lot of the work, but yeah, they're the villains now anyway. So they're the boogeyman that the world has to come and fight against or whatever. But yeah, this great sword he was given, man, right? Is these nuclear weapons, and it's the very same weapon that the Most High is going to use against you, right? To destroy your America with. Right? But I said he was blessed with that sword. Esau was blessed with the sword. He was given a great sword. I said your ability to wage war on other nations is unparalleled. Right? China's raising up through the ranks. But everybody else, because even Russia, they're Edomites. Right? They're just another faction of Edomites, right? All these Edomite nations have the ability to wage war greater than these other nations, man. These Arabs ain't on no level. Like, Saudi Arabia got some US jets, and that would be the only reason why they'd be somewhat formidable, and then they're not even formidable. So you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, without Esau is the king of death and war, right? And quite literally takes peace from the earth, man. He always setting up wars and all around the earth, man. He's the Lord of war. Okay, creating division in nations and all kinds of things and profiting off it. It's Psalm 73 verse 6. I'm gonna start from 3, right? It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked," right? Because they're in power, right? So for there are no bands in the death, but their strength is firm, right? No one could take Esau off the top spot, and everybody knows this, right? They are not in trouble as other men. Neither are they plagued like other men, right? Because they hold a certain status in the world because they are the rulers of it. Right, even to the lowest peon Edomite, right, they have a different status compared to others, man. Even if they be lowly, but at the top end, on the elite level, right, Esau is well beyond everybody else. Right, they're not in trouble as other men. Right, neither are they plagued like other men. Right, verse 6, the point. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Right, because you're sitting on top, and you have all this power and all this wealth. Right. You become proud because no one can touch you, no one can do nothing to you, to your establishment, right? So pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covers them as a garment, right? They become more proud and more violent because you can get away. You can get away with it. That's why Trump just rolled up in Venezuela because who's gonna stop me? Somebody stop me. Who's gonna stop him? Nobody. Ain't no one trying to stop them. They just hope, these men ain't gonna do it. But if they want to do it, no one's gonna stop them. And that's why that situation in Israel is kind of crazy and dangerous because, Israel is on a crazy one because they know they've got the backing of America. Like if things get out of hand or too out of hand, America is gonna come in and back them, and that's a war or fight nobody really wants to have. Israel is one thing; they're just a small nation, but they got high tech because of America. Right, but to have America jump into the fray with them, nobody really wants that. So Israel is just doing madness in the Middle East right now, and no one really doing anything. Like they're just murking man's off and stuff, and no one's doing nothing. There's a little retaliation here and a little retaliation there, but no one's really taking it to them at all, because everyone's scared. Everyone's scared of America, man. It's just the truth. Right, and big nations or powerful nations like China or Russia, they'd rather not have that war. Even if it's a war they think they could win, they would rather not have that war. But it's not up to them. It's the spirit of the Lord. The Lord is playing this game, man. Right, the Lord is playing these nations, and so these men are going to be dragged into the war whether they want to fight or not. Right, but these small hats, man, obviously they're a major component of setting off this World War III. The least of the flocks are drawing them out. But like I said, no one really wants to bring America into the fight because it's just, bro, they got the sword, innit? They got that great sword. And this is the same reason why the allies, they don't even want to back up against America because they depend on America so much. Okay, America is the whore that sits on the beast. The whore is the handler. It's the one that feed. It's like you got a dog. The dog needs the owner to feed him. You know what I'm saying? The owner. The whore is the handler. Is the owner of the beast. Right. So they depend on that owner. They depend on that whore. They depend on America, right? So they gotta be like, yeah, but we still want to get fed. We don't want Trump slapping us on 60% tariffs on us and just fucking us over. You know what I mean? Because he would do that, and so they're all scared, man. They're all scared. The hammer of the earth for real. All right. Verse 7: their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish, but it's not enough, right? I get we read earlier. They're insatiable. Right? They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Right? So they don't give a damn, man. It's a light thing to them. Like, oh yeah, what they do is a light thing to you, man. They don't regard it. All right. But I'm gonna finish off in Ezekiel 35. I'm just gonna read through this. Right? It says on the top. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Right? Mount Seir, again, represents you Edomites, right? It says, and say unto it, thus saith Lord God Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, right? So again, America is going to be made desolate. The rest of your kingdom is going to be, brought down, to nothingness, right? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had at an end, right? You've racked up so much wickedness and sin against the Lord and these people, right? There's like, there was never any coming back from it, but you've done so much, right? You ain't going to get away with it, right? So therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, right? Death, and blood shall pursue thee, right? Sift, or because thou hast not hated blood, right? Because you didn't care about shedding other people's blood, especially the children of Israel, especially the children of the Lord, right? You didn't care about shedding their blood, right? So even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. I will fill these mountains with these slain men. In thy hills, in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return. Right? So once, as the scriptures say, man, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? Once Esau has been taken out, right, he's not returning to any type of prominence. Right? He's not even going to be ruler of his own inheritance, man. He's gonna vacate that inheritance, man. He's gonna default, right? He could go bankrupt. He's gonna default on his inheritance, right? The Most High is not gonna, allow him any inheritance anymore, right? So you're not gonna even have any leaders or rulers in Edom, right? You're gonna be basically servants, slaves until the day that the Most High, decides to destroy the nation of Edom, or the people of Edom, because you ain't got any land anymore. Just the people of Edom, right? Until that day comes, right? That's all you're gonna be, right? You're not gonna return and build up nothing, right? Or anything to do with yourselves anyway. You're gonna be building our walls though. All right. This is I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Because I have said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there, right? So again, these two nations and these two countries represents the children of Israel, the two kingdoms, the southern and the northern kingdom, right? You have us, the people, in slavery, in serving you, and you building your kingdom, right? But you also have our land. Okay, you currently reside there now. Okay, you and the other heathen, you fight over our land. It doesn't belong to you, right? And you've taken it for yourselves, right? as you do, right? As you devils always do, right? So therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Okay, you saw opportunity. You saw opportunities like, yeah, we're going to do that. Because you got the power now, right? So you went and did all these things, right? You put the Israelites in slavery. Okay, you eventually got out land. You did all these things because you had the power to, right? So thus with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith Lord God Jehovah, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. All right? Esau going to be removed from the planet, man. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Jehovah. Right? So you're going to fail or fall in a spectacular way when the Most High brings the judgment against you. Right? For all your sins, all your wickedness against the Most High, against his children, and just your general wickedness, in the whole of the earth, man. Right? Because you're not a righteous people. Right? Your history shows us that clearly that you're not a righteous people. And you feign and you act like you change or you're different. You're just the same. Okay, your methods have changed. Right? You think you're more slick with it now. Doing all these false flags and making all these excuses to go justify what you do. By controlling the narrative. You think you're slick. Right? But you're the same devil you've always been. Right? So you so-called white people won't be acquitted for all the crimes that you've done. Right? You're not going to get away with this, man. You're not going to get away with anything. All right? But like I said, this is how you've been living, man. And so you can't say like, oh, it's somebody else. This is your history of rereading. This is what you've been doing on the planet. No one has done what you've done on the scale that you've done it. Right? You are the Edomites. Okay? And you're a violent, vile, wicked people. Which don't have any mercy upon you from the Most High. Right? So, we're all going to see it when the Lord judges you, man. But I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying. And I'll see you brothers and sisters on the next video, Lord willing. Until next time, I say shalom.